Hey friends, this is Grace, and we are on the last layout of our Back to Basics mini series. This is a series that I do, or this is the scrapbook series that I'm doing for the month of September. And if you're new to my channel or new to this thing that I'm doing, I try to create a scrapbook mini series. I consider it like a mini class if you're into those kinds of things, where I pick a technique or a theme and I make 5 layouts, sometimes 6, including an introduction video. And I have a few mini series already in my channel, so make sure that you check it out. They are in their own specific playlist, so I hope that you will check that out. So this is the final layout, and this is my attempt to combine all of those basic products that I have been working on, and that is the pattern paper, the cardstock, and the punches. So this layout is actually using a design that I found. Well, I have a kit that I bought at Scrapbook Generations, and it had a sketch, and it was using a paper that have these triangles. So the pattern paper itself already had the design of like various types of triangles in it, and so I decided to recreate those triangles, that specific design, with the scraps that's left over from the other layouts that I made for this particular layout. So at first I created a 4-inch square, and then I used my ruler, turned that diagonally to create a half triangle, and then created another triangle from that half triangle, so that I will have 4. But I've noticed as I was doing the other papers that I don't need to make the markings. I could just turn over my paper on my paper cutter, and then create my triangles that way. So that's what I'm doing here. Now my triangles are not perfect. I know that some of them are not angled quite right, but it's totally fine. I feel like they're fine. Like you can't mess this up too much, if that makes any sense. So I'm just cutting out some of these triangles here just to show you the design that I have in my head. I will be using a bunch more papers here later on. So this is a great way to use up the scraps. The one thing though, that if I were to do this again, one thing that I would do is make sure that when I put my layout or my photos on top of the design that I so painstakingly created, that I would not put too much photos in there, because at the end of the day, you can't really see the design because I covered it up with photos. But again, you know, when I'm scrapbooking, the main focus should be the photos in the story. So I was kind of sad about that. So if you were to recreate this, I'm just going to give you kind of the lesson that I've learned kind of the hard way, is that if you're planning on making this kind of background piece, make sure that you give that ample space in your layout, so that you can see the design that you created. So I'm just using my T-square ruler here just to make sure that the edge of this particular paper or this particular grouping would be straight. So I'm just grabbing a bunch of different layout or different triangles to put together. And as you can see, I'm not adhering them yet because I'm still kind of seeing if the design in my head would work. And one thing to note too is that make sure that the designs on your papers, or the papers that you're using, are scattered really well. So you can see that yellow stripe. I'm trying to make sure that I put them like in different directions if I'm using them, just so that it will have, you know, like the different look to it. So I'm just cutting out a few more papers because I realize that it's just not going to be enough. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit about the photos. This is just, these photos are taken in, again, 2018. I'm working on some scrapbooking some memories in 2018. And these are just images of us when we went up the mountains and did some target shooting. Yes, we are a family that do believe in the Second Amendment. And we do, my husband and my son do elk hunting in November. That's kind of their bonding time. And so this was the time where they usually try to sight their rifle to make sure that it's properly sighted for their hunting. And so we usually go with them because when they sight, then we also have the time or the opportunity to do some target shooting ourselves. So it's kind of been our family thing. We've been doing that for a few years now. I don't think this is the first layout that I created that I have a process video for, but anyway, so this is just when in 2018. And one of the things that I want to remember for this particular one was our little guy. Well, he's not so little here, but he was, I think, 4 years old, and he got to do his first, holding of the gun with, as you can see, with my husband assisting him or guiding him. And so that was really fun for him. And he was well protected because he had his, he had the head, not headphones, but the, yeah, whatever that is. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do these voiceovers like 5 in a row and I'm forgetting my words. Anyways, so yeah, he was well protected, and we made sure that everything was good to, he was safe in participating there. So as you can see, my video is a little blurred and I apologize for that, but later on I will fix that and make sure that it's all right there. But I don't know if you can tell, but one of the things that I did after I put together my triangles was do some pen stitching all around those triangles, just trying to give them a little bit more design than they have here. And so I did like the diagonal type of pen stitching, and then I also did just the kind of the horizontal and the vertical. And you can see I have my elbow on the paper because I was actually on the phone here talking to my son's school counselor, because I was doing this video during the first week of school, and I don't know about you, if you have any high school kids, but it seemed like even though we spend all summer making sure that they have the right classes, they got the right waivers for certain classes and all that stuff, still, every time, first week of school, we have to go contact the counselor because there needs to be changes in his schedule. It's like every single year. I don't know why, but that was one of those moments where I was talking on the phone with the counselor, trying to make sure that he gets to the right classes and all that good stuff. So anyways, now we are back, and now the layout is in focus again. So these are the photos that I had 3 vertical photos that I wanted to incorporate in this layout. And the only space really to add these vertical photos is to put them on top of that patchwork that I did. But alas, it is what it is. So I decided to mat them with some cardstock, and this is really pretty much the way I use cardstock these days, is background and also to mat the photos. I prefer pattern paper because, like I've said in previous videos, the pattern I crave the pattern. I crave flowers, I crave stripes, dots, whatever it is. I just crave that design. And so I go for pattern when it comes to most of the layouts that are created, or the backgrounds that I create for my layouts. But I do use cardstock for the base and also for matting. Now I'm going to put that there just to make the, I matted the photos just to make that stand out against the busy background. And then I I will be adding my pre-printed journaling here. Now, one of the things that I struggled with this layout was title. Like I wanted to use some more of the black alphas that I had cut out with my die cut machine, but this is the last layout and I have run out of some letters like T's and S and other things, and I was really bummed about that because I had a few more letters, and you know what I could have done? I could have cut out more letters. I could have definitely done that, but I was really losing steam when it came to this layout. Like I said in the past, I struggled with this series. I really did. Like I felt like I was missing some of the things that I normally add to my layouts, and I had a lot of like light bulb moments or epiphanies when it came to making these layouts. I realized how dependent I am with these other really fun products that we have, but I thought that, oh, they're just extras. Like I would still have fun making layouts even if I don't have the quote unquote extras on my layout. But come to find out, I do rely on them a lot. So I am going to end up with the title Sweet Memories. I'm just going to go for that. There is that love that I want to put on the top, and I'm going to add some pattern papers to go with that. So basically that is my layout. I will be punching out some stars to go with the squares that I created. I'm actually, at this point, I just wanted like squares to create as a visual triangle, and I'm going to cut out a few of them here. And then once I adhere them, then I realized that, wait a minute, I have triangles. So what if I turn over those squares into diamonds so that it will coincide with the background that I created? So I'm going to end up doing diamonds instead of these just like kind of tilted squares that I am doing here. So I am going to cut a few more. I think the top right ones were like a quarter or an inch and a quarter squares, and then these ones will be, no, I take that back. These ones are an inch and a quarter squares, and then the other one is I think an inch and 3/4 squares, something like that. But these ones will be smaller squares. I'm going to do 3 again, just like what I did on the top. So there's going to be 3 squares there on the top, on the bottom left, and then on the bottom, like bottom right under that Sweet Memories part. So that's going to be it, and then I'm going to add some stars there. So basically that is my layout, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for going along in this journey with me as I try to go back to basics. Let me tell you, after this layout, I am going to be so excited to use all these other products that I have kind of not ignored, but decided not to use for the time being. So I'm going to be really excited to use them just because I've missed them so much. Let me know if you're playing along with this series. If you are, and if you have video, or like if you're on social media and post it, let me know. Share it in the description box below so I can see what you've created, and maybe that will inspire me in my next layout, because I hope that these layouts inspire you, and I hope that you will share yours too, so it will inspire me as well. If you have any questions, make sure that you leave it in the comments section below. If you have any suggestions on future series, let me know about those as well, and I will try to make it happen. Sometimes I have these grand ideas for series, and then they don't turn out really well. So I can't really promise anything, but I do like doing this. It just takes me out of my comfort zone. One thing though that I would kind of like make as an announcement is since we're talking about school and everything, I was offered a full-time teaching job, and so I'm letting you know now that that will greatly affect how many videos I will be able to share in this in my YouTube channel in the next few months. I think once I get into the hang of things, once I get into a routine with my class, I'll be able to plan out my weeks better. But right now, I'm just going to give you a heads up that the amount of videos that you will see in my YouTube channel will definitely decrease, and I hope that you will come back when I do start sharing videos again. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys another day. Bye.